Holy rip-off Kraven the Hunter, Batman! Tiki here, and I have been watching through each and every episode of Batman Beyond for the first time. Dragon, tell him why we're here.
Well, you see, folks, long ago, I made a vow to educate Tiki in the ways of Batman the Animated Series, serving as his spirit guide to Gotham in a way. But that was the past, and we must now enter the Batman's future.
That's right, and tonight we are talking the, mildly culturally insensitive, Bloodsport. Yeah, I'm really not a fan of this one. Honestly, I'd have to probably look at the whole roster of episodes we've been over, but this might be at the bottom of my list so far. It's got a couple redeeming moments in it, the pizza place. I'm not going to argue for a well-themed pizza place. That was fun. This guy's demise is visually cool. Honestly, that's about it. I mean, obviously I said the knockoff Kraven the Hunter thing. That is my main criticism with this. We've gone from, I think it's really, I think the trajectory of villains in the show has been really cool when it comes to the, the DC side of things, where it's okay, let's reinterpret, reimagine different DC villains. But Dragon, I don't know if I'm missing something. This just very blatantly feels like, hey, Kraven the Hunter's cool. What if Batman had his own Kraven the Hunter? I don't know. This is just not doing it for me. This episode is it's chock full of that fight stuff that I don't really care for. I'll even say this: I watched the episode twice over, and it's not like Bruce Wayne isn't in the episode. He has a presence, but Dragon, for the life of me, I can't even pick out a really good Great Conroy moment in this.
Oh, there's two Great Conroy moments.
Okay.
At least two debatable ones of the three scenes that he has. So there's.
I mean, I would say probably the best I can give this episode is we get some minor character development from Terry's mom and kind of the McGinnis kind of family dynamic. But other than that, yeah, man, I hated this villain. I really did.
I'm surprised you hated this villain, honestly.
Well, Dragon, maybe you can shine some context on him, but I just look at him as a big, fat, more culturally insensitive Kraven the Hunter.
Okay. All right, let me provide a little bit of that context there. So this was directed by Dan Reba, presumably the Dan of Cheezy Dan's, which we'll get to. He did episodes all across the board. Again, we kind of call him the kind of the Dan Scanlon of the DCAU. He did the Lockup episode. He did the Main Man to give you kind of a manhunter sort of bounty hunter thing in that regard from Superman the Animated Series. And he did he did Beware the Creeper from the new Batman Adventures, and for Batman Beyond, he did an episode you really loved. He did Earth Mover.
Yeah, I did really like that episode, for sure.
Okay, so our writer on this was Rich Fogel. Now, Rich Fogel from Batman Beyond, he did The Winning Edge, which was the Bane episode, and he did Heroes, which was recently mentioned on our little game show.
True.
Not that game show, the other game show, the actual game show.
I feel like at this point, Disney Debates is just the vanity project of the channel. I feel we try and keep it to a competition, but anyways.
Okay. So, studio worked on this. Big surprise. It was Coco with a few delicious marshmallows of Dong Yang in there.
Shocker.
Actual studio named Coco, in case anyone's wondering, why is he talking about hot cocoa? No, the studio is called Coco, like the girl that knows sign language, more accurately. So.
Oh God.
Anyway.
Okay, Lucas Green in the comments says, well, since you don't like this episode, what would you say this episode needed to improve itself from your point of view? Honestly, Lucas, that's a hard question to answer.
You can't 86 the villain. You have to keep the villain.
Right, and that's a hard question to answer because I feel like, for me, the big problem is the villain. don't get me wrong, there's a couple standalone cool moments with the villain, but that's about as much as I'm willing to give him. So if I were to fix this episode, honestly, I'm going to kind of go like one of my sort of like go-to tried and true episode pitches. Maybe have this episode be all from Matt's perspective. I don't know. I think that would be an interesting kind of switch up. Maybe see a little bit more of Matt and this crazy Craven the Hunter knockoff guy, and have and their interactions. Like I don't know. That would like a little bit more of Bloodsport actually interacting with Matt is about the only thing I could think to really elevate it at all.
His name's not Bloodsport, Tiki. It's a different DC character.
Well, that's the fucking title of the episode. I'm sorry. Okay, Dragon, just so I'm not just calling him Rip-Off Craven the Hunter the whole time, what is this guy's name?
He's the Stalker.
Oh, the Stalker. That's right. Okay. You see that? I don't know. That's even that name is like.
Well, Tiki, it was not helping. Is there's the Suicide Squad character, Bloodsport. So
that's true. That's true.
That's why we gotta make that distinction. But he did.
Why is this episode called Bloodsport then?
Well, it's a hunting episode, right?
All right.
Call me crazy. Anyway, back to the background. So, yeah. There's not a whole lot here. Just it's mainly surface level, as you probably gleamed. This is another Spider-Man, very very Spider-Man pulled episode with Kraven the Hunter. We have the idea in Batman Beyond. It's kind of a blend of my two loves. You got Batman, you got Spider-Man with the teen Batman angle. We're kind of leading into kind of like the teen hero with the dual identity, which very much coalesce with Spider-Man. And doing so, they've showed a lot of love to Marvel Comics. We have a whole episode themed to the Fantastic Four, practically, with heroes. So, this is them just kind of going full tilt with the Kraven the Hunter thing. What's kind of nice on the rewatch this, I don't have nearly the problem I have one issue retroactively with Stalker, but you don't know about it yet. It's that what I do like, though, looking back on this is, there are some subtle touches of Bane here and there in this character. I kind of noticed on the rewatch. Like, it's kind of interesting. We kind of have we're not going heavy into the Bane thing, but there are there's some light touches there. I mean, kind of appreciated.
I can see what you're saying, but for me, I like this guy's motivation is just so paper thin. It's just like, I'm gonna go to Gotham City and I'm gonna hunt the ultimate alpha predator, the Bat. I don't know.
Admittedly, that's the thing, though. So it's another Spider-Man knob, but this one is probably the least subtle Spider-Man knob.
Right. Okay. Yeah. The Fantastic Four thing, I was totally on board with Dragon because that wasn't them just. Those characters were clearly inspired by the Fantastic Four, but it wasn't just a wholesale ripoff. You know what I mean?
Admittedly, yes. So there's So aside from the subtle touches here and there to try and spice them up, there's not really not much of it. Here's the main takeaway, and here's the main reason I feel this episode is kind of important, is that this is the big proper introduction to a big DCAU player in his initial run. We have another Justice. Remember last episode we had Michael Rosenbaum?
Sure.
This episode we have the Martian Manhunter. We have Carl Lumbly.
Indeed. I caught that on the credits actually.
So that's the thing. So Carl Lumbly, he had been here and there, like
also another Marvel pool.
Exactly. Yes.
Years later.
Yep, I know. Yeah, it's great. They started DC, ended up in Marvel. Tangled web that we weave.
Right.
But that's the thing. So Carl Lumbly, he had appeared here and there. I can't fully recall. I know he played the mayor in Superman the Animated Series. I think he was the mayor in the big Superman Flash racing episode. That I could be wrong about, but it's a fun fact that we kind of had him play like a little bit part there. And we gave him like at least a meaty role here. And the idea is that they really liked what he did performance-wise on this. And it's like, we got to keep bringing this guy back. And, they brought him back occasionally here and there. Like he pops up in Static Shock. And I believe that was probably after Justice League. But the point being that was before. No, sorry, that was before Justice League. Anyway, I'm sorry, I'm tripping myself up because I can't remember if he was introduced in season 1 or 2 of Static. I think it was the end of 1, but if it was the end of 1, it was before Justice League. Anyway, semantics. Point being, Carl Lumbly, we love Carl Lumbly, and it's an iconic turn as this character. This character, I think he's essentially a one-off who I suspect, and I can never prove this, I suspect they put him on the box art. Like when you get the DVD set and everything, you open the pages and everything, it's like, hey, this guy has a really cool design. That inspired him to have a return in a later season.
I mean, he's got a cool design. I would not say his design is cooler than Craven.
Well, true. I'm just saying.
I'm sorry. I know I'm being repetitive here. But...
okay, my only issue with the Stalker, and again, we won't really get into this until down the line. I forget if it's at the end, towards the end of the season, after we revamp the style, or if it's season 3, because season 3 has the revamp, kind of digitally cleaned up style. It's not a revamp. It's just like there's a change in the animation style. He comes back, and he should have been a one-off, and that's the one thing that bothers me with this character.
Oh, no. Oh, you've got to warn me when he comes back, Dragon. You've got to prepare me for that.
Yeah, so that's the thing. That's like the one really, aside from the Craven thing's a gimme. The Craven thing's like, well, yeah, we just found an excuse to do Craven, but yeah, it's what it is.
Maybe it's just, honestly, Dragon, it might literally be, like... I have a bad taste in my mouth about Craven right now because I'm literally thinking like, God damn it, the money that they spent on that stupid Aaron Taylor Johnson Craven movie could have been spent on another animated Spider-Verse movie. So I don't know, like I usually love Craven, but ironically enough, like these days I'm a little bit sour on him just because of Sony's decisions.
So that's a very petty reason given what we're talking about here.
Well, no, I know. I'm just explaining my mindset.
All right. Okay.
I never claimed that my mindset wasn't petty with this.
True. Very true. Okay, so let's start breaking it down.
Really quick. Lucas Green has a couple comments here. He says, we get a little bit of Matt's perspective as he asks the Stalker about his backstory. And of course, it ends with Matt loving Batman, which I believe would have happened no matter who the villain was. Also, they probably didn't focus on Matt too much because he's not the most interesting character. Then again, this could have been a chance to fix that. So I see where you're coming from.
I mean, Tiki, that's the thing. You yourself have said like Matt works in small doses, so doing
he does. Yeah,
episode might have chanced that a little too much.
That's fair.
All right, so Bloodsport. So we start the episode off. We have a fancy themed penthouse.
Yes.
It's very nice.
I don't know, I just find it a little bit silly. Like Craven the Hunter is like checking in for a nice weekend in this fancy Gotham hotel, and instead of going out to take to the town to go have a nice meal or something, he's going out in his full hunting garb.
But still, it's a nice hotel, isn't it?
I
mean, you totally stay here, wouldn't you? It's all themed and tribal and stuff. All right, so we kind of tease up a little bit of the scars. He's taking off his jacket. I like how we kind of tease the scar until the big backstory reveal. That's kind of cool. He
snubs the bellboy on the tip.
Exactly. Let's see. He's requesting.
I mean, that's how we know he's a villain, Dragon.
Yeah. All right, let's see. So then, so he's taking in the view, and as he takes in the view of futuristic Gotham, a little mosquito. And this is the creepy bit of this guy. We have like really nice, kind of creepy, intimidating.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. This bit with the mosquito to me, like, in theory, it's a cool bit, but for me, it's kind of like when I saw it, I kind of read it as like, oh, look, it's their attempt to make him even more badass than Craven, and it's not really working for me.
Well, again, it's not really they're competing with Craven. They're finding an excuse to do Craven the Hunter in DC. That's really all it is. There's one excuse to do that character, but they can't because they don't.
And as a fan of original characters, I just don't really like the recycled quality of this.
They did give him a really original backstory opposed to Craven.
And as I said, that backstory is probably the coolest part of his character. So we'll get there when we get there.
All right, so we'll break down the. More of the stuff with the Stalker as we get into it. The point being, we have the mosquito, that takes some blood. It's the fact that he lets the mosquito take the blood. Now he lets it,
right.
So let's see.
It's a circle of life, my friend. The mosquito needs the blood, but I'm going to kill the mosquito.
One could say it's a blood sport after all.
Oh my god!
All right, so we're at the the Evergreen Recycling Plant, which essentially is recycling stolen cars.
Yeah, this is a really kind of. I mean, I liked it, but it was kind of like an out of nowhere like first act action beat. And don't get me wrong, I'm not opposed to these kind of first act action beats. I just kind of thought it was a little bit like okay, correct me if I'm wrong, Dragon. The way I read this is essentially like since our villain is going to be so tribal, we're kind of starting things out with a more industrial villain.
I mean, I don't know how intentional that was. I think he traditionally Bad and Beyond they like doing kind of like a James Bond whammo whammo in the middle of the action, like the night on patrol thing. So I think that's mostly what it is. But I mean, given here's what I read as on the mind you, this is like after we just got the last episode. Well, I'm sorry, 2 episodes ago, I guess, with Lost Soul. Lost Soul was an episode about Terry being taken out of the suit.
Uh-huh.
Like we're taking away the tools of the trade for Terry. In this episode, we're doing that with a guy who is pretty much as strong and formidable as the Bat Suit, but it's kind of a reversal of Lost Soul in a sense, which is kind of interesting. So that's the main thing I was reading into it. So I wasn't really thinking of like the whole industrial tribal thing. Yeah, but I think it's symbolically though. It's again future tech versus a guy who does not have future tech. So
Sure.
You might be right, but I think it's more literally just the confrontation itself.
All right, this guy is like he kind of gave me vibes of like the Shocker or something. I don't know. Like not a ripoff of the Shocker, but just with his design and power set, it's like a little bit like that.
I was saying more like Razor Fist from Shang-Chi because he has like the chainsaw panel.
That's true. That's true.
But yeah. So, by the way, did you hear the thing about the new Spider-Man game? The whole that they're hoping the meme comes true.
Wait, what meme?
Yeah. So in the Spider-Man, the Marvel Spider-Man 2 game that's coming out, it looks great. They're going to do the black suit stuff, which they kind of teased in the last game. And
there's only one Marvel Spider-Man 2 video game that I care about, Dragon, and you know which one it is.
All right, anyway.
No, I'm just kidding. I love, like, I wish I could play the game that you're talking about. I just don't have, I'm like Captain Logan, Dragon. I don't have $500 to spare on one game. I'm sorry.
Anyway, so you have this, essentially they're doing the black suit, and Shocker is going to be in the game, and it does harken back to one of the great out-of-context moments from the 90s Spider-Man show, which, of course, is from the great Black Suit Saga 3-parter episode. In the second part, when Spider-Man's becoming a little unhinged, he's going after the Shocker, and you have Christopher Daniel Bard's kind of hamming it up dramatically. It's like, Shocker! I'll chase you to the ends of the earth!
Oh, jeez.
So they're hoping that meme, kind of makes it into the game. Or if he says, the check's in the mail, baby!
For some reason, I think I've heard that one out of context before. Anyways.
So the point being, you bring up the Shocker, kind of made me think of it. The point, we have a cool whammo blammo action sequence here. Batman going up against these guys who basically are chop shopping stolen cars. Let's see. So Batman is using his surroundings. Look what he's doing. He's using his surroundings more and knock those guys out with with car parts.
No, he is. I mean, that's definitely with season 2. We're definitely seeing like a progression of his skill set for sure. I give them credit there.
Our boy's learning. He's learning, Tiki. Look at him learn.
Yep.
Let's see. So as this is happening, this is a great kind of setup here. We have here's debatably the great Conroy moment. The other one's more of a good Conroy moment. This one actually is probably the great Conroy moment where Terry's fighting, and then we have some great banter between him and Bruce Wayne. And Bruce says, "Oh, by the way, Terry, there's one more thing. Your mother called. She wants you to pick up some milk."
Yeah, that's the great Conroy moment. I'll sign off on that. That is pretty well delivered.
See, this is obviously out of Kevin Conroy's.
I mean, it's funny because when I think of great Conroy moments, I usually think of the pathos. But yeah, no, I can't deny that. That is a great comedic Conroy moment for sure.
I'm going to get on the Stromas on you here. Technically Nostradamus. I'm filtering through Batman the Animated Series here. I'm going to get on the Stromas on you. Later in the episode, the other Conroy moment, I'm going to say is debatably a great Conroy moment. You're going to end up saying it's a good Conroy moment, not a great Conroy moment. We'll get there.
Okay.
I'll bet all King Mice silver on that.
God.
Regardless, here's the thing. It's like out of Conroy's control, but I love the fact that in the shot you can see Bruce is smiling at this because, like, I never had these problems.
Right.
Just seeing him smile at that, but you can kind of hear it in the voice too. He's like, she wants you to pick up some milk on the way home. And just Terry's like, milk? As he's like,
now?
That's gonna have to wait. So a little fighty fight shooting the Batarang disc, which is going to come in handy later. It's a little foreshadowed there on how he's using the Batarang. Here's the really cool thing too. We never did enough of. We don't do enough of with Batman. Only so far, Batman the Animated Series really has done this sort of stuff. When you throw a Batarang, guess what happens? Boomerang, Batarang. It's going to come back.
Yeah.
Very handy. Okay, so let's see. So he shoots the Batarang disc. Machinery falls on the guy. Next morning, Terry. He's tired. He wakes up, and we have kind of an ode to the Amazing Spider-Man movie with Andrew Garfield, where instead of forgetting the eggs, he forgot the milk.
Oh my god!
It's very interesting that Terry's mother kind of walks in. The first thing she asks is, "Terry, did you get the milk?" Anyway. So Mary, okay, so long story short here, Mary McGinnis, wonderful played by Terry Garr as per usual. She needs help because she's I forget if they ever said what she does per se. I think she works in a business setting, but I could never.
Yeah, it seems like they're like she's taking a class or something.
Yeah, that's the thing. She's taking a class.
Class.
Yeah, she's taking a night class to get certification for something, so presumably she can like get a promotion or something to get more money, or like do certain work that would earn more money for the household. That's essentially what's happening here. So she needs to take a night class for it. They never really said I know they never said she was a nurse, so the logic is she might be like working in an office building, but I don't. Just given that most jobs in Gotham are either in like shipping, or they're in the future, or either shipping or they're in an office building. There's like the two jobs in Gotham, really. Anyway, point she's taking night classes. She needs some help, and Terry, being a nice kid that he is, he wants to help and he promises to do more. The fool!
God!
You fool! Exactly. Okay, so Stalker here, he scares off the maid. Not in the creepy Weinstein way, he just scares off the maid.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see, so he's transformed the room into kind of this an African ceremonial hunting thing right now. He's like all the sheets up around the nice little fire pit that's built into the room.
I'm not gonna lie, I think this is just a little bit silly.
Why is it ceremonial?
I know, I don't know. Again, Dragon, it's kind of just the idea of this guy like checking into the hotel and then just using the hotel as like his like weird ceremonial crash pad.
Well, it's not just the ceremonial thing. He has the whole like hunting setup for Act 3. That's why it's there. It's like a nice green kind of like tribal themed hotel. I guess. All right, so he's doing a little ceremony here. He's
Do you think he picked the hotel just based on the theme? Is that what sold him on the hotel?
No, I think so. Absolutely. I mean, no joke. I think
he's going through Travelocity to pick his Gotham lodging.
Yeah.
God.
Okay, so we show off fully as he removes like the full garb. He's showing off the spinal scar, which building some mystery there. Like, how do you get that scar? One could say, you want to know how he got these scars. All right, so we see the again, it's just really cool. Like design wise, he's like the bare minimum compared to the Batsuit, which we've spent like a season plus just establishing the usefulness and utility of this thing, and now we're just having this guy seemingly outmatched going up against them. Mm-hmm. And he's putting on like the paint and everything. He's camouflaging his body. He's got like a little eye enhancement. Let's see. Oh yeah. So he's this is a really good shot here. He's doing like a little not hieroglyphics, but little cave painting sort of. He's doing like a little tribal painting on the floor, and
it's like graffiti.
Sure. Graffiti's not exactly a name for that, but yeah. Point being, he's doing a little ceremonial, little painting.
That's sick, dude. Okay,
yeah.
I'm sorry. That was a very obscure "Your movie sucks" Lion King reference.
Yeah. So the point being, he's painting some of like the animals that he's hunting. Of course, the one that gets the most prominence is the bat.
Yes, the bat.
It's a nice reflection shot in his eyes. Is the main point I'm trying to make here. It looks really nice reflecting his eyes. Because honestly, if I could have gotten that image for this, I probably would have tried, but no luck. All right, so we set up what this guy's after. So we have an intentionally clumsy break-in by the stalker. Batman's on patrol. He reminds Bruce he's got to get home early so that Mom can take her test. And I like to think there's some sympathy from Bruce Wayne, and that the whole, I wish I had my mother stuck around so I could be in a position to help her.
I wish I had a mom.
Well, yeah, but to the pathos side.
I'm sorry.
Old man lost his mother, Tiki. I think we should. Anyway,
I'm sorry.
It's like 80 years of trauma, but a lot of loneliness. Alfred's gone.
All right. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No, but seriously, I like to think I'm reading into it. I like to think there's some sympathy from Bruce on this.
Sure, yeah.
Okay, so there's a break-in at the Tribal Arts Museum. Terry speculates whoever did this wanted to get caught. If he only knew.
Right.
It's kind of nice that seriously, isn't it nice that we, the audience, are ahead of Terry on this, so it kind of builds the anticipation?
Yeah, I guess so. Like I said, Dragon, at this point, when I was going through the episode, I was just kind of like, this is just a very blatant Kraven the Hunter ripoff, so I wasn't really, stoked about it either way.
All right. Okay, so let's see some antiques and artifacts and stuff. One of them, I'm convinced, is modeled after Glenn Murakami because it has glasses on.
I was going to ask about that. Yeah, the glasses thing that really stood out to me.
I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be the guy who's captaining the ship. Remember, he was the one who said, "Guys, we can do it." Glenn, good old Glenn.
Okay, I'm glad we brought that up because that definitely stuck out to me.
They have a nice bit where the stalker's jumping in shadow on top of the statue heads. Then we have when he's starting to shoot stuff at Batman. That's where we have the Glenn Murakami with the green glasses built into the bottom of the totem pole there. All right, let's see. So we have some kind of electronic, blow dart tech going on here. So he wants to stun Batman, probably lure him into this most dangerous game trap, is my guess. Either that or waste him here. But point being, he's we had some fight going on here. Whoa, the natives are restless tonight. Well, funny, Terry. Nice.
I'm not gonna lie, this fight scene it's kind of the pretty standard, middle of the episode fight that I
this one, I would argue the climax is quite good.
The climax is a lot better. I'll give you that. Yeah,
sure. This is the introduction fight in which we know they can't really fully face off.
Sure.
So we have a very Kraven dynamic where the Stalker here attacks and he's critiquing Batman, much like Kraven would Spider-Man here about you're my prey, you're the mighty prey, and he's rolling to avoid the impalement from the futuristic staff. Let's see. So we have a bit there where Batman's punching him, and then he smiles, and he cracks his neck, and he smiles. There's something disquieting about this guy. Then we have the fist grab. And this is what I'm talking about, Tiki. This is the moment where I really do in the fight, where I think it's the moment that signifies that Terry's got a challenge here. This guy can match the might of the suits, and Terry doesn't know how to fight. This is he's gonna have to think out of the box on this one.
Sure.
Yeah. Let's see. So then we have the Stalker here. He tosses a smoke bomb. In theory, in quotes, he tosses a smoke bomb at Terry. And then we have, I don't know if you want to count this or not. Bruce says, "Terry, are you all right?"
It's not a McGinnis.
True, but sometimes we count Terry, but it's not really an aggressive, I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't really count it, honestly.
Okay, we won't count it then. So, all right, so Terry's fine, but their guest is gone, and we reveal, and this is really cool. It's rather convenient, though. It's super convenient. The Stalker is camouflaged perfectly to the bottom of this one specific building, but then again, he knew he'd be at this museum, so I guess he could have actually planned for that, but why he just keeps it on for the rest of the episode is a better question.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so Terry's running late, but he makes it just in the nick of time to take Matt off his mom's hands. And guess where Matt wants to go, Tiki?
Well, it's only the best pizza place in Gotham, Dragon. It's Cheezy Dan's.
Yes, it's kind of the love child of Dave and Buster's and Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh my god, it totally is that. You're right.
Cheezy Dan's, which I still speculate is named after Dan Reba.
I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Did Dan Riva get a little bit cheesy with his writing?
Well, again,
Was he known for the sentiment?
Well, he was the director, but I mean, he was a character-based guy with like stuff like like Lock Up, and I believe he did Baby Doll. I'm trying to remember. I think.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't call Baby Doll cheesy, but
well, still, it's the fact that it has like it's seemingly cheesy, but then dripped in pathos.
Sure.
So like, the idea of like, okay, Batman going up against like a Shirley Temple theme, like little girl, it's like cheesy, but then pathos.
It's kind of crazy how like Baby Doll and Cats Don't Dance, Darla Dimples.
I know, right?
Like they're both very, very similar characters, but they both stand on their own so well.
That they do.
Anyways.
All right. So, Matt's going on about Cheezy Dan's. What it has going.
It is a very catchy name. I will give him that.
It's got pizza, games, all kinds of cool stuff. All right, so here's the thing: we reveal in a POV shot the stalker is actually this is kind of cool. He's actually following, and yes, I know, yes, taken from Craven, but still, it's just for the sake of our story here. It's a cool idea that Terry has not come up against so far. He was hit by a phosphorus grenade, so using that little lens in his eye, the stalker is following Terry's like kind of a phosphorus signature on him. So he's able to basically he's following him outside the costume. So technically, he knows who Terry is.
Mm-hmm. That is a cool idea.
That's the first villain to find out, so it's pretty big. All right, let's see. So, so here's where we're getting to that weird continuity thing. So we're at the arcade, and Max is playing Fragmentation 3000, which is a really cool, futuristic-looking game because it looks like that gauntlet actually fires something.
And I feel like this continuity thing bugs you a lot more than it bugs me.
No, it doesn't bug me. It's just kind of like now knowing about it when we've been going through it again. It's like it's sticking out to me. Like, it's kind of it is kind of weird.
So I really didn't give it a second thought, honestly. I mean, I like honestly, if you hadn't have pointed it out the last time, I wouldn't have even registered with me.
Yeah, look, I'm just saying some people that really go through with like put it under fine tooth comb, like we are kind of like at task of doing now with these. I don't know, it's just kind of interesting that it plays fine because we don't really indicate anything like she knows the secret. Like she's helping him out, so either way you could intimate like
right, yeah,
or she's just being a nice person and she just doesn't know, which is apparently how it was made. Like this is before she found out who Terry is.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, also, if you really, here's the thing, I went back to it just to be sure, and I actually found if you actually did put this before that episode, it still doesn't make sense unless you like put this within like the 24 hours between
terminal
and like when Dana comes in, because otherwise, like, what did Terry blow off that Dana's so mad about? It's like
true.
So yeah, there was a whole episode in between, and we just fitted right before the epilogue of the Hidden Agenda episode. So it's not a problem at all. I'm saying people blowing it out, like saying, "Hey, this should have come before this."
Yeah, I mean, it's not like there's like a ton of like continuity between the two episodes.
Point being, like, hey, here's like another. Just so I guess all you need to know is like this is like another potential introduction of Max of the three that we have. We have like her like in the background of the splicers. Here is like, oh hey, this is Max, Matt. And then we have like the proper like, okay, here's actually we get to know about Max.
Sure.
All right, so let's see. So a little bit of that going on there. Terry spots the stalker as Matt's playing his game there. And he basically has to lure him away from his brother and civilian. So he asks Max to keep an eye on the TWIP.
Yeah, she kindly obliges on that.
Nice little Cree Summers bit, too. It was like, help yourself, kid. I love the way she delivers that, too, where it's kind of like, she's being real chill about things.
She's being chill about it, but at the same time, there's like a minor air of annoyance to it. Not even at the fact that she has to watch him, just at the fact that he jacked her game.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Terry's calling Bruce while on the run here, saying, tell him what's going on. Like, Bruce is like, try and lose him. So Terry is pulling some evasive maneuvers. We have this great gag that is, again, you have to wonder, Did no one watch The Dark Knight? I'm sorry. Did no one watch this for The Dark Knight?
Right.
Where we have like one of the Jokers, like he's like in an alleyway saying your money or a pie. He says some other time he punches him like on the way, very much like a Bruce Wayne, like, hey, where are you going, pretty boy? And, Batman Bruce just like disarms that guy and kicks the crap out of him with a shotgun.
Pretty much.
And of course, this is great. The stalker's like chasing after me, steps on the clown's head, so it goes in the pie. That's not funny, man. Okay, so Terry gets stopped by the GCPD, who think he's up to something. He tells him, like, there's a guy with a spear after me. He says, yeah, right. No joke. Go in the alley.
Yeah, that was actually kind of an interesting dynamic to sort of witness. Yeah. One of the few times that we've actually seen a Batman have to directly deal with the police outside of being Batman.
Yeah, Terry got profiled. And again, this is kind of like, it's a little breadcrumbs to the whole juvie thing, where Terry, he's got a juvenile record. He kind of gets attention sometimes because of that. All right. So he's stopped at the GCPD. He sends him to the alley, and one guy gets knocked out. And this other one's brutal. This lady, this female officer, she tries shooting at the stalker, and he like jams her gun. It explodes.
Right.
Brutal. I mean, I hope she's okay. I mean, she's in the background still, but that's probably gonna sting a lot.
Oh man.
Okay, so then Terry escapes onto the train car, and Bruce is expositing that Interpol says his name's the stalker. Bruce always checking the Interpol files, where you'll notice again, majority, if not almost all the Batman villains in Batman Beyond are in relation to Interpol, because they're like either international or they're like hired killers or something like that. So in this case, another Interpol guy. So let's see. The idea is he's a big game hunter on three continents for poaching, and he goes after the most dangerous of predators. So the question is, why the heck is he going after Terry? We're going to learn that he's crazy, and he studied Kraven the Hunter's playbook.
I mean, more or less, pretty much literally.
Yeah. So let's see. So he's following Terry and using the cybernetic enhancer. He's like spearing the top of the train, and he's got to get out of there fast. And thankfully, another Nolan pull in this episode, by the way.
A little bit, yeah.
A Nostradamus pull, if you will. Where Terry runs off the train, and Stalker attacks him seemingly, and we reveal it's the bum on the train who was wearing his jacket. One could say a nice coat.
Yeah. A little bit of a Nolan pull, sure.
Hey, Nolan's got good taste. No complaints here. All right. So Terry returns to Cheezy Dan's to get Matt, who went tubing. He's in like the little play tubes, in the ball pit.
This is probably one of my favorite moments of the episode because it really does show kind of like the danger where, it's like, I feel like with Batman and this Kraven the Hunter knockoff facing off, it's just kind of like whatever. It's like kind of like, okay, been there, done that with Spider-Man. And it's like, don't get me wrong, I am sure that Kraven the Hunter has like used Spider-Man's family to get to him at certain points in the comics. I'm not that well read up on Kraven the Hunter besides the 60s stuff, but this was refreshing though. This felt like the first time that this character was actually going beyond just like, ooh, I'm Kraven the Hunter and I'm gonna hunt the bat instead of the spider. It's like he's actually getting to the family. So it's like I did appreciate that as a menacing move.
I mean, honestly, I don't believe Kraven's actually like pulled this sort of actually used Spider-Man's family before. It makes sense for him too. So you have to imagine like the 60s.
It's just an issue if he could find out who Peter Parker is or not.
Well, okay, so it's funny you mention that because with the phosphorus thing, it's actually a subtle Spider-Man now. It's a different Spider-Man villain though, because if you recall, especially from I guess. It's always weird because of the death of the Green Goblin. I forget if that occurred in the late 60s or if that was in the 70s. I think it was the 70s. The point being, when the way the Green Goblin found out who Peter Parker was something similar to this situation. What happened was he doused Spider-Man with a gas. Spider-Man just brushed it off as nothing, and he basically went home. And what happened was the Green Goblin dulled he dulled his spider sense and wouldn't go off, and the Green Goblin just followed Spider-Man home, and he found.
Yeah, I actually do remember reading that comic in one of the Essential Spider-Mans or whatever, the black and white reprints.
Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. So yeah, that's I think they pulled directly from that for this, and they blended it with Craven. A lot of Spider-Man this episode. Such an appropriate week right now with all the
I
Spider-Man.
know, right? That is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Let alone Batman Beyond is very Spider-Verse-esque in its own right, just in concept.
Especially with the Minion Eyes at all.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Let's see.
Seriously, there is some talk about that Batman Beyond animated movie hopefully getting some traction after Spider-Verse. We can only hope, Dragon. We can only hope.
You know, Tiki, I want it. I really do. But as much as I want it, it's still a thing of like, Conroy's gone.
God damn. Yeah, I know.
Just ridiculous. I mean, there is one thing they could
animation style though. Like, I don't know.
Let me this way. There's one
thing. Maybe they could literally just do a multiverse thing with it.
They could, but the other thing is, as much in the comics recently, and I honestly I never looked into this because they kind of lost me with this choice, but it is something they could do. In one of the recent way they revamped Batman Beyond in comic form when they brought it back was they killed off Bruce Wayne.
Okay.
So basically, it's Terry operating on his own. So if they really wanted to, they could. But the reason I don't read this was because you took so much out of the dynamic with that. It's just Terry on his own. It's like it's his, yeah.
Sure. Honestly, I just mostly want to see like futuristic Gotham City in the Spider-Verse style.
Yes, I want to see that too, Tiki. Yeah. I mean, the medium would be like the Batman Beyond game, but again, right now we're having enough game troubles right now with the Suicide Squad game. Keeps getting delayed.
Now, once again, Spider-Man is like the only superhero who's really got his shit together in the game department.
He does, and in animation right now.
Yep.
All right, let's see. So the point being, so we revealed that the stalker had kidnapped Matt, and this is kind of a nice little screw you, by the way. I don't know if you noticed this. At least I might be reading into it. When Terry finds like the removed part of the play tube, which has been like completely like cracked open and removed, and he's kind of grabbed the kid. He left his jacket. He left Matt's jacket like pinned to the side, so he knows that the kid's been kidnapped.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, hey, I saw a jacket move you did. Here's my version of it. So,
right.
The little jacket move.
I mean, it is a pretty menacing move. It is a pretty like, I've got your brother. What's your next play?
I have the boy. All right, so Terry, they're pulling a move from the MC on this one. A lot of Marvel this episode. Terry.
Okay, to be fair, they're not pulling a move. The MCU is pulling a move from this. All right, let's be semantic with the dates.
Well, no. What I'm getting is like the MCU has that patent that we have to have the shirtless superhero in every.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So Terry's showering off all the phosphorus.
No, you're right, Dragon. If this episode was adapted into the MCU, we would very much linger on this.
Yep. All right, so then we have here we go. So we have this bit here where Terry blames himself as Bruce explains the whole phosphorus grenade thing, which is how he's able to track him. So Terry blames himself, and then we have debatably here's the great Conroy moment, if you will.
Okay,
I love the way Conroy delivers, very genuine. It's all delivery on this, man, where he says it wasn't your fault. I know it's stock. I know it's kind of good Conroy.
It is stock.
See, I called it. Yep.
All right. Okay, I'm just going to shout out a couple comments here. Lucas Green says, well, he's not the worst Batman Beyond villain. I'll put him over the kid controlling the Golem robot. Yep. Lucas Green, I'm sorry to tell you, I actually really like the Golem episode. I'm sorry, I'm one of the few people who did. So I can't sign off on that.
I'm on Lucas's side on this.
I know you are. Sonia Patosia's checking in. Nice to see you, Sonia. We haven't seen you in a few weeks, so it's nice to see you check in. Unless I'm sure she's probably popped up in Phineas and Ferb, maybe, I don't know. But regardless, nice to see you. Anyways, Lucas Green says, how would you feel about this character if he was put in the Spider-Man cartoon, say a 2099 Spidey cartoon? I mean, yeah, that's the thing. He absolutely feels like
Kraven of the future,
a futuristic version of Kraven the Hunter. So I would have zero problems with him if that was the context he was introduced in.
Yeah.
All right.
So Bruce assures him that oh, we'll get him back because he pulls out the disc that was in the pocket that was in Matt's pocket that Stalker left for him. So it's a map, and of course Bruce corrects him with there's another cool line to it. Context is like, no, it's a trap.
Okay, I do like that line a little bit. I'm not going to call it the great Conroy moment of the episode,
I know,
but it is a good Conroy line.
All right, let's see. So, so the Stalker is So the Stalker's in like the ceremonial panther pelt garb, which is really sadistic because this is the panther that he killed with his bare hands. We're about to learn, so that's really creepy.
Right.
Matt's like dangling in a cage, and he's asking. This is funny. This was really a nice bit. This is what I'm talking about. This is the characterization that you were kind of like maybe looking for more of. That,
and you know what? I am going to say with Matt, this is definitely the most that we've seen of him in a single episode, and he does not disappoint. He is a bright spot of the episode.
I think this is what I told you. I was hyping up to you before. This is like probably some of the most Matt that we get. This is like an example.
Well, what I like about him in this episode is that I like how he's not like playing the victim here. Like he's not playing scared little kid, but he's also not trying to be like Dennis the Menace, Bart Simpson, too cool for school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I really like that middle ground that they hit with him.
He's appropriately helpless, but not like pitiable.
Exactly.
So that's the thing. So we have this, but I like the dynamic here where again we're humanizing Stalker in a way, but again you gotta remember he still like is a big game hunter, and we're not really like trying to like.
Dragon, his name is literally Stalker.
Yeah. But seriously, I like that we're not trying to humanize him too much because he is like a poacher and everything. But didn't you feel bad for him after learning the flashback?
I mean, I think the flashback is a cool backstory. I'm not gonna say I felt necessarily bad for him.
No, I don't mean like feel bad.
I do not condone poaching, Dragon. I'm sorry.
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of getting to that space, and I guess this is the question. Like, so we get into the space, so we see this Stalker. We have like this behavior. We learn he's not going to hurt the boy or anything. He's like, what are you going to do, Mister? You going to cut out my heart? You going to eat my liver? This is very Temple of Doom pool. Says, don't be dramatic. You are merely bait. And we see the scar, and he gets oh man, it's a nasty scar. What happened to you? So we get the flashback, and we have this effectively told in red and black, which is a really good choice. Especially, I mean, obviously, kids WB are a bunch of sick puppies. They don't really care about this sort of thing. But I like to think that it's red and black, so we can cut down on the gruesome, grisly, bloodiness of it all, and just kind of like in a really cool, naturalistic way. So it's kind of a cool cheat, I like to think. But we have this traumatizing thing that freaks me the heck out. Where he is so he was hunting this panther, and he kind of he shot at it, he scarred it. He let his guard down and attacked him, and ripped out his spine essentially, and broke his back in 5 places. The Bane parallels continue.
Uh-huh.
By the way, the main Bane parallel I was leading up to is the fact that traditionally they hinted at this in Batman the Animated Series. In the comic, the idea is like Bane is going to Gotham for the challenge of beating Batman. So, or like it's his destiny to beat Batman if you go by the comic. So, in that sense, there is a little bit of like if you're going to take like Kraven but kind of target him more to Batman, there's a little bit of Bane in there. It's a Scotia Bane, which I thought was kind of interesting. Anyway, also the back breaking stuff, very kind of Bane-esque. Not that Bane has back broken, unless you go by Dark Rises, but we're not going to focus.
Well, no, but the act of breaking a back is very connected to Bane, whether or not it's happening to him or happening, or he's dealing it to someone else. It's still synonymous.
And another Marvel parallels to make it unbalanced. Little Bullseye-esque, because Bullseye, he got, as we saw, affect very memorably in Daredevil Season 3 as well. Bullseye got his back broken, and in the comics, that's a whole thing where he has like an adamantium spine. So, we have this horrific, traumatizing thing where we see, like, with no anesthetic, he's having that surgery performed.
Right.
And I'm freaked out, and it's like he's screaming his head off. And that's what I'm saying. Like there's a little bit
disturbing. Don't get me wrong; it is disturbing. But again, if the question is, do I feel bad for him?
Well, my question is like, here's the thing. Obviously, he's poached animals, and that's horrible. But I mean, it's so you're saying it'd be just then this horrible thing is happening to this guy for.
I'm an animal lover, Dragon. I'm an animal lover.
That's true. You're an animal lover, but not like the big dangerous animals though.
Dragon, I don't know what to tell you. You're asking me to get off my political stance that we really should not be poaching shit. All right, like
look, we shouldn't be poaching.
I have no sympathy for people who do that. All right,
I'm sorry. He's not like he's poaching like like the elephants or anything. He's like poaching like things that are going to kill people. But
all right, well,
it's a fair look. I take the point though that again we shouldn't be messing with the natural environment. So the point, I think your point still remains that you're not wrong. Regardless, though, the fact is this what it goes through is pretty horrific. But then you're right. The moment he realizes he has like enhanced kind of Dark Man style, he has like nerve endings and like kind of enhanced cybernetics that kind of brought with the expensive spinal treatment, experimental most likely, which is why the heck does they'd be able to perform that without anesthetic. He breaks free and he escapes and he kills the panther with his bare hands.
Oh yeah,
brutal. And again on Kids WB, yeah. PETA's going to have such a hissy fit over this, but it's horrific.
right.
Not only that, he probably ripped the skin of that thing off with his bare hands and turned into a pelt. The point being, everything else was too easy. He was looking for a challenge. I mean, Carl Lumbly's acting the heck out of this scene too. So he's heading he wanted Batman. He returned. He heard that Batman returned. He heard the Batman returned, and they speculated that Batman was an ageless soul that was like inhabited the greatest warrior of each generation, which not entirely wrong.
Okay, I'm gonna say here, like that's a cool concept, and like you said, like in premise, it's not entirely wrong. Kind of comes out of nowhere, though. He kind of just pulls that out of his ass.
That's the thing, Tiki. I don't think you're wrong about it, and that's where we do get sloppy in the episode with the Stalker. Yes. Just in terms of, like, why Batman? I think they're kind of resting on maybe some light Bane connective laurels of, like, I heard there was a challenge, and he's animated.
Right. Like, again, it's been a while since I've read the Craven stuff, but if I remember correctly, there was a way better reason for him to go after Spider-Man.
Well, honestly, Tiki, I don't know if I put a lot of stock in that. I think it's probably a similar reason, only with Craven, it's like a literal guy with animal abilities versus like, a guy in a bat costume who's been... I know there's speculation sometimes from the superstitious and cowardly, like, is he part bat? But historically, if you go back to Batman, very distinct. It's a guy in a bat suit. We can tell because we can see the mouth hole.
I mean, I guess all my Craven the Hunter questions will be answered with that highly anticipated movie that I can't wait to see.
Well, of course, Tiki. I mean, they're gonna tell you everything there. I mean, I know
his interactions with Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. They must be hiding in the marketing.
Wait, is there a trailer for that?
Trailer for Craven the Hunter?
Yes.
I don't believe so yet, but you could.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. It's like they are really like they have no faith in that movie.
Yeah, I just don't understand what Sony's problem is with all these.
And again, it's like literally the money that could have gone into Craven the Hunter could have gone into another Spider-Verse movie. That Spider Noir movie that we heard about that might not happen.
Well, they're doing a series, Tegan. That is happening.
Series, right.
Dude, that's a series, and it is happening. It's on hold because of the strike. So that's
okay. Well, I'm saying if they didn't make that fucking Craven the Hunter movie, maybe we could have gotten the Spider Noir show before the strike. Anyway,
so that Spider Noir show is not going to be the same because it's going to be live action, not Nick Cage in that suit. So
what?
You didn't hear about that?
No.
I mean, look, I'll be shocked if
live action Spider Noir. Fuck that.
I mean, look, there's a chance I could be wrong about it, but I don't understand why we go.
I mean, I understand not getting Nick Cage back. He's a busy guy, but live action.
When I read it way back, it was live action. I don't know if they changed their tune on that or not, but I'm pretty sure. I don't think it's something they can really change willy nilly. So I'm pretty sure it's live action.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, anyway, again, still, I would want that Spider-Man Noir movie, but we seem to not be getting it. Point being, though, it is begging the question, like, there's got to be, I don't know, Amy Pascal or somebody at Sony, just someone with, there's, a button of, live action, 2D, or just, hey, Spider-Man movie, animation. live-action villain spin-off movies that do not have Spider-Man in them. It's almost like it's like the monkey or the test subject who's like you has to push the button, and
I know, right?
wish I was there with like a ruler, just like I see her
Oh my
hand
God.
going a little bit to the right there, going a little bit to the right with the bad Amy. No,
God.
but no. It's Craven Hunter. No, is Spider-Man in the movie? No, then no.
You know, I heard that Holland is like kind of egotistical about only wanting to do MCU movies. Have you heard anything about that?
I mean, right now I've heard that they want to do. They
Like that's like Holland is kind of like one of the big holdouts for why they're not putting Spider-Man in these stupid villain movies.
I don't know if that's accurate. What I heard is that right now they're talking. He revealed
If that's the case, get Andrew in there.
Well, that's the thing. So from what I heard,
people love Andrew even more than Tom right now.
Well, that's what I'm. So that's the thing, Tiki. What I've heard is that right now they're working on 4, but they're holding off because of the strike. Because Holland's being all. I hate this. Is what I really hate what Holland's doing right now. I hate what he's doing the whole like. Oh well, he's just playing. Look, are you going to come back?
I'm going to put Nathan Drake and like 3 other characters that I have no right playing, but I can't be Spider-Man in a non-MCU movie.
It's just the thing of like. Well, no, that's not the issue. The issue is like just say that you're doing the next Spider-Man. Okay, don't dance around it. Just say yes. I'm still playing Spider. It's not that hard. Okay.
Don't tell Tom Holland to dance around.
Good point.
He'll get ideas.
Okay, but in seriousness, though,
although he is playing Fred Astaire, so
right. But here's the thing, though, it is a question of Andrew Garfield wasn't. There was rumors of Andrew Garfield being in the Venom movie, the 3rd Venom movie. So that's the real question, and then there was questions of Tom Holland being in the 3rd Venom movie. So I don't know if that's him holding out or not. I don't.
All right. Well, this has turned into just literally a Sony Spider-Man discussion. Yeah. We need to get back on track. Finish out the episode.
Finally, okay. Okay, let's see. So the point being, he's looking for a challenge. Batman.
Is that a challenge?
Yeah. Okay, so point being, Batman could present the ultimate challenge if this whole Bat Spirit thing is true. So Batman. Then here's a bad entrance for you, where Batman, pissed off because his brother's been kidnapped, is gliding at full tilt, and he says, "You want to fight, Dreg? Let's go." Just tackles him, and he's punching him like crazy. Oh god, he's like hitting him brutally, and he draws first blood.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
So then we have just the dexterous like leg throw from the Stalker here. We have some really cool fight, much better than the Act 1 fight here. Then basically Batman is in kind of like a most dangerous game kind of like setup here, where like he's springing all the traps. And he's like caught up in these Doc Ock arms that he then batarangs himself out of. And then let's just see the springs like more most dangerous game traps, or like he falls into the hole. He's springing like the electronic darts, and then they have this mid-air brawl, which is really cool. And then it leads to this electronic bear trap in which Batman's trapped and he can't move. This is I've fought kittens with more tooth, and he says like meow, and he flips them. All right, so then Stalker's really ticked off here and has a really intimidating line, which is messed up, where he says like, "For that, I'll drink your blood."
Oh God!
The fact that he's not a vampire makes that line.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't know he turned into a vampire.
No, that's the thing. The fact that he's not a vampire.
Like, 2099 in there.
No, it's like I'm gonna.
Dude.
Again, just in case it's got lost, I think some people may have got lost, and that was a joke somebody made. He's not actually a vampire.
I figured he wasn't. I wasn't entirely sure.
He has fangs like a spider, and just that was a joke that he made in the thing calling him a vampire. Anyway.
All right, that's fair.
It works kind of like it works a little like Blade. He has to take a serum so he can like retract the.
All right, we're getting back onto Sony talk here.
Well, you started it.
I know, but this is what happens when they literally rip off an entire episode around a Spider-Man ripoff.
All right, anyway. Okay, so point being, like, I'll drink your blood. Then Batman has seemingly disappeared. He's pulled a bad exit mid-battle. What about the boy, Batman? What about the boy? So then we have this great moment where, again, it's kind of getting back at him for his exit earlier on, where he camouflaged himself to get out. Batman uses the camouflage on the hunter. So he basically electrocutes him with his own staff, which is brutal and really cool. And here's the most brutal part: when you see him light up, you see the electron, well, the implants in his spine start to heat.
Yeah, yeah.
Like that's painful, man. And then he basically big explosion happens, and he's suffering some PTSD right now. He's out of his gore. He's kind of taken aback by the explosion. He's hallucinating that Batman is like the Panther. And he's like, "No, you're a demon."
And this is like definitively the coolest part of the episode, I think, is his demise.
Yeah, sadly not the last that we'll see of him though, but
he's like running away from Batman, like again, like thinking that Batman is the Panther, and then Dragon, he's running away so frantically, his surroundings are so distorted, he ends up right on the train tracks.
And again, that's the thing, is it feels very much like it's not a retcon because they're not going. I don't know. It's kind of like an off-screen retcon, if anything. Is that he's again the way Batman reacts is like he saw him like, ooh, you know, he saw something.
Yeah, it's hard to justify getting hit by a train and surviving. I'm not going to lie.
So presumably, it's just so that one's a bit.
I do like the visual of the train turning into the Panther, though. That's some cool imagery.
You're right, that was. Anyway, so Batman is like, well, what happened to him? Like his demons caught up. He was running from his demons, and they caught up with him. So we have a little the epilogue's adorable.
It is.
So Maddie's telling his mother everything that happened, and like she's on the edge of her seat, like, oh God, what that happened too? He says, yeah, and then Batman kicked the crap out of him. And basically Matt's now the hugest Batman fan. He already was from Heroes, but even more so he actually got to meet the guy a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, like, yo, like Batman's so cool, he's not like a loser like you. Or like you. This is like, oh, well, we can't all be Batman.
Yeah.
Cute. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, final thoughts. I mean, honestly, Dragon, like I said, I would probably have to like go back over the Rolodex of episodes we've covered. There might be a filler episode from season 1 that I don't like as much as this. This is pretty clearly my least favorite of season 2 so far, at the very least. Again, there's a couple moments of cool imagery, a couple cool action beats, some fun stuff with Matt, a decently themed pizza parlor. That's about it. Really not a ton of substance here, unfortunately, from my end.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm not going to argue that the episode's Yates. I just found the Stalker to be cool. Like, if we're going to do a Kraven the Hunter thing for Batman, it's a pretty cool way to go about it. But you're right. Do we need 2 Kraven Hunters? No. But then again, we live in an age where we have Spider-Verse movies. So, you know, we're spoiled. We're spoiled in that regard, but we're not entirely spoiled because we still have, like, these live-action Kraven Hunter movies happening. But again, this episode, though, it's nice seeing Terry. When I go back to this episode, it's nice seeing Terry like given a real challenge in terms of he's very outclassed by this guy, and the stakes of his brother. And this guy's actually really dangerous, you know. And he's actually found out who he is. So you know, there's a lot going on there. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting stuff there. And plus, you have like some fun gags like the milk thing, and just like seeing Terry's home life. There's a lot of redeeming qualities this episode. But you're right, overall, not the strongest episode.
Sure. Okay, Lucas Green says, I believe you handled this episode breakdown very well, despite the fact that you're not the biggest fan of it. Yeah, Lucas, I really appreciate that, man. I always try and, come on and talk about these episodes as enthusiastically as I can, even when I'm not really feeling it. So I appreciate the feedback, man. All right, Dragon, cue us up. What's up next?
The Derby in town. An old flame returns. Joker's holding all the cards. Will Terry and Melanie Walker reconnect? Can Batman save the Royal Flush Gang? Tune in next time to find out. Same animated bat time, same animated bat place.
On the next visit to Batcave Beyond with Once Burned.
For that, I'll drink your blood.
Hey, guys, we should go to Cheezy Dan's.
Cheezy Dan's.
Cheezy Dan.